This is a poem about Cornwall today, but back in 1770, Oliver Goldsmith wrote a poem about how the rich landowners had forced the poorer inhabitants to leave their villages by enclosing the land and putting up the rents so that self-sufficient farmers could no longer compete. This meant that they all had to move to the towns and cities to get work to survive. Goldsmith lamented in his poem The Deserted Village. Today in Cornwall, young folk are being forced to leave the villages they were brought up in through lack of affordable housing and inflated house prices in what is Britain's poorest province. Goldsmith said, "Ye friends to truth, ye statesmen who survey the rich man's joys increase, the poor's decay, 'tis yours to judge how wide the limits stand between a splendid and a happy land." This is The Deserted Village, Cornwall, 2020. As she gazes out from the Mundic dormer, light from the weak sun does little to warm her. Fixed in the amber light of an auburn sky, she watches a magpie, the sole passer-by. Her being flutters in the cobwebbed corner, the desiccate remains of village fauna, stuffed in a bell jar, relieved of her thunder, skins of her past life lay sloughed all around her. Each delicate feature, though Goldsmith fashioned, recalls the days when she was so impassioned, those halcyon times when first they arrived here, freshly retired but with intentions made clear. The village was perfect to start life anew, plans made and submitted, put on public view. Enclosure was needed, involvement was key. You stood for preservative with a big P. Back then the power couple wired to the mains, charging yourselves to be new blood in the veins, ousting the locals you sensed lacked your vision. Their directly based thinking earned your derision. Pushing yourself till you stood at the vanguard, eager to be seen as setting the standard. You badger best and excel at the nitpick, primed for the task of preserving in aspic. A twin tour de force with matching ambitions, tilting at windmills with rolled up petitions. Then, when your John passed, you didn't stop the fight, took on night school classes and built a website. Look through your window, see that you've merited the deserted village now inherited. The post office, gone without much palaver, Lazarus risen as funeral parlour, now a chapel of rest for the village dead, by the cast iron casket marked out in red. The inconvenience of losing the store for petitions and posters, who could want more? Its closure for you has been a disaster, handy for things you'd forgotten at Asda. The Red Lion is now the Bengal Tiger. Real ale's been replaced by Indian lager. No more Sunday roast or steak and kidney pud. Gone are the days when you could eat spicy food. The church is only active 1 week in 4. Society weddings now the only draw. A grave hopper squats by a lichen-kissed stone. The plots are untended. The mourners have flown. The empty mansions that were bought on a whim by flush city folk for a dodgy tax skim, their blind, soulless windows of all life bereft, are cold comfort cancer, community theft. The old double-deckers, engine and braking, ever the cause of you from slumber waking, no longer reverses in the village square. Now that you require it, it's no longer there. The expensive taxis you now have to get for doctors and nurses who have to be met. The ferryman to get you over the Styx comes with a number, 666, 666. The lifeblood congealed now in varicose veins. The children are gone, but the school still remains, snapped up by men with ideas from afar, planning permission for a luxury spa. Its school, its shop, its pub and its life retreats until only ghosts walk about on the streets. Pavements mossed over as there's no need to walk. Each pothole becomes home to a ragwort stalk. Now the only young folk you're likely to see turn up in dull cars with passcode for key. Watch their identity and names evanesce, the carers and cleaners who wipe up the mess. Where is the new blood, that vital transfusion? Applied tourniquet maintain the seclusion? Dialysis blocked on a daily basis, with all and anything to keep the stasis. Now you can't get the staff, they've all moved away. You can't because you didn't want them to stay. Those affordable homes you fought to repel because you thought they'd house the ne'er-do-well. All this has happened during your lifetime here. Now you rage inside like some helpless Queen Lear. What advice would you give to new arrivals with their airy dreams of village revivals? Enjoy the view, the peace and life idyllic. Don't pass up the chance to be altruistic. And think on this before you're well past your prime. Remember to move back to town in good time, where there's life, help and friendship all close at hand. Always a pasty in both pound and Iceland. Lest you end up rattling in your sealed up vault, your head full of doubt. Was it really your fault? As your garden returns itself to the wild, the gardeners stop coming, it's not worth her while. Your life spent in 2 rooms to keep the bills low, the staircase redundant except for, the deserted village is yours now to own. What point to a lock-in if you're all alone? Another day ends with its cloying curfew of the amber light closing all around you. In the distance, she can make out the village over the stench of winter's rotting tillage. No industry thrives, nor stirs any creature. The postbox is the only constant feature.